I want you to make 2024 your most successful year ever. And in order for you to do that, you need to make change now. You see, most guys are stuck playing the waiting game. The waiting game is this idea that eventually I will be ready to make the change that I want in order to get the results I want in my life. In order to make the money that I want, I have to be at a different point. In order for me to date the girls I want, I have to be at a different point. In order for me to travel and have the life of freedom that I want, I have to be at a different point. But this is a misconception because the only time you actually have is the present moment. You're going to have no better time than the moment you're in right now. And if you keep waiting for the future and waiting till later to make a decision that is going to actually help you change, or to take a path in your life that's going to actually help you get the results that you want, make the money you want, date the women you want, have the travel freedom you want, build the life of your dreams, if you wait, you'll never actually experience the growth that you want to have. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can make the most of 2024 right now instead of waiting for new year, new me, because the future doesn't actually exist. The only thing that exists is the present. So let's learn how to use the present in a way that's going to get you results and help you make the changes you want so that 2024 can absolutely be your best year ever. The first thing that I want you to understand is that the only time you actually have is the present moment. A lot of people don't get this. If you don't maximize your present, you actually have nothing because the future is an imaginary concept. The future never really comes if you think about it because it's always in the future. So when people say, I'll be ready later, and I've seen this a lot doing sales calls, doing high ticket sales, people always say, I'll be ready in the future. I'll be ready in the future. And more often than not, almost every time, that point never comes because there's a decision they need to make in the present with the best information they have that's going to affect what that potential future looks like. But the future itself doesn't actually exist. It's just a concept, and you can never exist in the future. The only thing you have true control over is what you do in the present moment. If you want to learn more about this and understand this idea, read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It was my intro into spirituality, and it was my intro into understanding self-development as a man. And although it's a spiritual book, it actually helped me a lot when it came to sales, when it came to building my business, even when it came to dating, because I began to understand concepts about how the world works so I could step out of the haze and really build the life that I wanted. The real key to winning in 2024 is self-mastery. And this starts with the idea that the world is consistently changing. The world is a very difficult place to win in. Sure, you could think that it's easy, especially if you have tools, it becomes easier. But the world actually is a very difficult place to be successful, and that's why most people aren't successful. Once you figure out how to play the game the right way and you see through the haze, you step out of the haze, well, then things become easier. But in its own, objectively, the world is not an easy place to win in. Life is tough, and no one is going to rescue you. The only person you can rely on is yourself. Now, there's a couple of advanced principles when it comes to mindset that I'm going to give you where you don't have to go through life thinking things are difficult, but the reality of the world is that it is harsh. The reality of the world is that we're guided by evolution. We're a species that has taken over, essentially, and that is how we're successful as people. We've taken over, we've gone to war against each other. Some people have won, some people have lost, and this is an unfortunate reality. So when you understand that no one is coming to rescue you, what do you have left? You have left yourself. And the secret to really winning and the secret to really creating the change you want to see, making more money, having a life of freedom that you want is self-mastery. Now, in order to practice self-mastery, what it really is, you have to learn how to master your impulses and create a new mental model that will give you success in life. Mastering your impulses as a man is one of the most powerful things you could do. Mastery over the self, where you're not dictated by behaviors that are going to keep you in the haze, by distractions and tools that are going to keep you in the haze, but you actually create your own tools and you develop your own mental model for having success. Now, the simplest way you can begin this, and this is something that's changed my life, I'm currently reading Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's one of the most powerful books that I've ever discovered. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to make a video breaking down the lessons I've learned from it. I suggest everyone who reads this. You have to be the change you actually want to see. And I'm not saying this as some silly quote. I actually mean, if you want to have success in life, the simplest way to start and make a change in 2024 is to build the vision and be the vision. Now, what this means is if you believe that you are the person that you want to be in that future, as in the version of you that you want to get to one day, that you say, one day I'm going to be like this. If you bring that version of you into the present, you're going to be able to have more success, because there's a collection of behaviors, ideas, and habits that future version of you has that he actually lives out. The guy who makes more money, the guy who has the girl of his dreams or the girls of his dreams, the guy who's traveling all over and has a life that he wants, or the guy who's living in a place that he wants to be in and that gives back to his community, that gives back to his family. If you want to be that guy in the future, there's a collection of behaviors, mindsets, and habits that you have to bring into your present now in order to become that guy. That guy isn't this distant person that you're waiting to chase and have show up. You're actually putting yourself in a position to have more success by adopting those future behaviors and habits that you believe you need in the future, bringing them into your present. Because again, all you have is the present moment. And Psycho-Cybernetics, just like the Power of Now, talks about this. And this is something that I'm really keen on sharing with you here in the next couple of weeks as we go more into videos. Subscribe if you want to learn more with me. I'm going to be talking more about this because it's so powerful. And the other part of this, the third thing you have to understand, is your beliefs about yourself must change. This is the way that you're going to get success in 2024. So the first thing is understand all you have is a present moment. You have nothing else but that. Number two is you have to practice self-mastery. Self-mastery is the key from you getting to where you are now to you getting to your next goal. And the third part of this process for really winning and killing it in 2024 is understanding that your beliefs about the world and yourself have to change. And I'm going to give you 3 beliefs that I've actually adopted and practiced in my life that have helped me make way more money, date the girls I want, and have a life where I can travel and do the things that I want because of who I've become. These beliefs are really, really powerful. The first belief, and I want you to really hone in here, is I respect myself. That's the first belief. If you truly respected yourself, would you be doing the things that you do now? Would you be consuming porn? Would you be drinking excessively? Would you be spending money the way that you do on things that aren't actually serving you? Would you reject mentorship and sound advice that's actually going to help make you better? What would you do if you truly respected yourself? If you respected yourself and held yourself in the highest esteem, as if you were a god amongst men, and I really mean that, brother. Do you treat yourself like you respect yourself? Because that's the key. That's so important. Do you respect yourself? That's the first mindset. I respect myself. The second belief, and this really helped me, is money is easy. Instead of me believing and thinking and manifesting this idea that money has to be complicated, that money is a challenge, especially helped me in sales. So if you want to get into high ticket closing, this is killer. Instead of me believing that people didn't want to buy or that people weren't interested in what I was offering, people weren't interested in my services, I adopted the belief, I took it upon myself to accept and understand that money is easy and I can have what I want in my life, that it's not difficult to make money, that it's not difficult for me to get to the next level and for me to say on a call, this is $20,000, or this is $15,000, or this is $50,000, and for that person to say yes to me. I began to assume that the money was easy and that I was someone who was deserving of hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and then I began to see that kind of results show up in my life. And this wasn't because of just some hippie, ethereal bullshit. So it wasn't because of some hippie, magical promise I made to myself. I literally began to change my beliefs around what I could earn and what I could deserve, which means that when I'm sitting in a client meeting now and I'm talking to someone across from me who's interested in something that I can provide them, now I can say that price and say that number without fear. And the third belief is I deserve success. This is something that I ask guys on calls all the time. Whenever I'm working with a client or I do a sales call, I always ask this question to the person that I'm offering the product to or the service to. I say, do you believe you deserve this? Do you actually believe that you deserve to show up every single day and get these results? If you do believe that, then what's holding you back? What's actually going on? And I get them to a point where they're saying, yes, I do believe I deserve this, but maybe there's a little bit of fear, something else. So the question I have for you is, do you believe you deserve success? Because I know I do. And I had to build it. I didn't always have this, but I've recently, in the last couple of years, started believing I actually deserve success and then seeing that success show up in my life. Do you believe that you actually deserve success? Because that's the third belief that's going to get you to the top of the mountain where you have the relationships you want, where you have the money you want, where you have the lifestyle that you want. That's the key. After working on your beliefs, the next thing I want you to focus on to kill it in 2024 and really have your best year ever is building your primary skill set. Now, you notice how I didn't start with this, and I think primary skill set is so important, and it's one of the biggest things that I teach. But before you get to primary skill set, you have to work on your mindset and be open and ready to invest time, to invest energy into that skill set. And it's easier to invest in that skill set if your mindset is in the right place, if you believe that you're going to maximize the present moment. That's the way to actually do it. Now, the primary skill set is really important. The primary skill set is everything. Your primary skill set is what helps you go from novice and making novice kind of money to expert and making expert level money. And you have to have a primary skill set that you could plug into a business, your own business, or solve problems for other business owners. As an example, high ticket sales. Working in high ticket sales, working as a high ticket closer, you're able to solve problems for a business owner, the problem of time. And what's really important about a primary skill set is that it gives you leverage. And leverage is where the big money comes from. That's where the big bucks comes from. Because leverage gives you the opportunity to create more for yourself down the line. Leverage puts you in a position where you can go to a business owner and say, I'm worth more money. It's where you can go to a business owner and you can virtually demand more money for your services. Not demand saying you have to give this to me, but saying if you want to get my time, if you want me to solve a problem for you, because of the leverage you have, you can charge more. You can charge $10K for 2 months of services. You can charge a fee where you get commission and a base fee, 15% plus 2K commission per month, because you're so good at selling, which is something that's not common in the industry. If you want to get to that point, you have to be an expert at your craft. You have to be really good. 2024 is the year where you develop the primary skill set. Trust me, man, if you want to make 2024 your year, practice developing your primary skill set, whatever this is going to be. Here's what I'd say. If you have a job, if you have a 9 to 5 and you know it's not your primary skill set, you need to develop something outside of it. One of my clients, he's absolutely amazing. Right now, he's experiencing a 9 to 5 job, but outside of his 9 to 5, he works as a manager in a supplement store. Outside of his 9 to 5, what he's doing is building a primary skill set. He's building a skill set through YouTube and editing. And because he's building a primary skill set, he is going to be able to have leverage so that in the future, he can charge money without sacrificing lots of his time. He also can work anywhere in the world as an editor. And because he has this advantage, or he will have this advantage, and he's working on it in the present, it's going to give him leverage to create the life that he wants. And as he gets better at this, he'll be able to charge more for it, which means that the quality of life he can access, how he also gives back to his family, how he provides for his future family, the girl that he decides to build a family with, he's going to be able to create an amazing life for himself, because the skill he's learning right now is going to give him leverage for the future. Now, there's 3 ways that you can develop a primary skill set. Number 1 is education. All right. And all 3 of these are important. Education is number 1. You have to understand how the skill set works. So if you're working in sales, you have to understand high ticket selling. You have to understand the mechanisms that make people go from I'm unsure to yes on a call and investing inside your program or investing in paying for your service. The second way you develop a primary skill set is through practice. And practice means putting the education that you've had into actual use. This means going out and getting real world experience. This is how I got better at dating and how I became a successful dating coach. First, I had the education. I learned from mentors and I was around guys that were good at dating. Then I decided to practice. I went out and spent hours and hours, I mean hundreds, thousands of hours out in New York City, Miami, and LA, approaching women in the street, approaching them in bars and clubs, malls, all different kinds of situations, getting good. It's the same thing with high ticket selling. It's the same thing with any primary skill that you want to develop. You have to practice the skill. And thirdly is mentorship. This is what took me from being average or even below average to being expert level in dating and in sales. What I decided to do is, instead of me just practicing with people who I could learn from a bit, but who weren't really going to get me to the next level, I invested money and time in mentorship. And this is where a lot of guys will stop. This is the thing, because I talk to so many guys who come on calls for the company I work with, and they're so shocked. They're like, oh my God, this is the price, thousands of dollars. I'm surprised that you're charging this. Dude, you're getting mentorship. You're getting our time. We're going to help you be better. We're literally buying you back your time. You're investing in buying back your own time. And people don't see the value in that until they do it. And then they're like, I would have done this for 10 times more, maybe. The real secret to getting good is mentorship. And anything I've ever gotten good at, whether that's business, dating, sales, it's been because I had mentorship. And because I had mentors that were invested in me and that actually cared about my growth, because I invested in them first and I took that initial step to pay them and to take the next step and to actually grow with them and to ask them to teach me how to get to the next level. Because I took that step, the results that I was able to get were just much faster, which means that at the age I'm at now, 29, I was able to be in a position that a lot of my peers haven't been in because I paid for knowledge that my peers didn't have. So mentorship is the third key in developing a primary skill. And if you want to be great in 2024, you need to start developing that primary skill now. And of course, I think the best primary skill to develop is high ticket sales, high ticket closing, but that's up to you, the path that you want to go down. The fifth way that you're going to make 2024 your year, the best year of your entire life up until this point, is consistency. You must be consistent. And I know it's hard, but you have to show up every single day. You have to show up 365 days a year for yourself. You must do that. Every single day is a day forward. Like I said at the beginning of this, the only thing you have is the present moment. The only time you have is right now. There's no better time than the present. And what that means is you have to make every single day unique and wake up with the willingness and wantingness to move forward. Because every day is an opportunity to learn. Every single day is an opportunity to build and to move the needle forward. And if you're not taking advantage of every single day, you're sabotaging. Now, you're probably going to sabotage sometimes. You're not going to be perfect. But the key is, do you get up and do it again? Do you get up and stay consistent? Do you get up and show up for yourself? Do you get up and perform? Or do you say, I missed yesterday, so let me miss the next one. I missed 2 days in a row, so let me miss 3 days in a row. And then you look back and it's January, February, June, October, and you're in the same position financially, mentally, life-wise that you were in this moment right now, and you haven't grown at all. If you want 2024 to be your year, you have to show up for yourself, and you must be consistent. Consistency is so important. You could have all the stuff I mentioned earlier. You could realize that now is the present moment and now is the time. You could commit yourself to a journey of self-mastery and take in this information. You can work on your beliefs by reading properly, by doing the inner work necessary to be that guy who actually respects himself. You could build a skill set too, invest in mentors, but if you're not consistent, it means nothing. The guys who are the most consistent are the guys who win. It's simple as that. Like, I would rather miss a few of these other principles in 2024, but be consistent 365 days in the year. I'd rather just do the same thing that's going to move the needle forward just 1% for me every day, or even 0.5% for me every day. I would rather do that and miss some of the other things, because I know that if I do that, I'm going to do more than the next guy. The next guy who's reading everything, who's watching all the great videos, who maybe even spent on a mentor but isn't consistent. The guy who's consistent and does just a bit less but keeps showing up every day, he's going to win. Now, the secret is you want to have all of these. You don't want to miss any of them, right? You want all of these to show up in your life in 2024, but consistency is the key. To summarize, here's how you're going to win in 2024. I want to make this really clear. The beliefs that you hold about yourself are where your potential is going to exist, okay? And the key to this is self-mastery. You have to start with self-mastery. And self-mastery and committing to a journey of the self, a journey of you getting better one day at a time, that's going to start changing your beliefs. When you start working on the belief of, I respect myself, money comes easy, and I deserve success, I deserve everything. When you build those beliefs, that's going to have a comet tail effect that's going to go into other areas of your life. And after you start building the beliefs, after you commit to self-mastery, the next thing is work on the primary skill set, because this is where the money comes from, and the money is what's going to give you the freedom. So if you build a primary skill set, which could be sales, it could be high ticket sales, there's a massive industry and there's so much opportunity available, you're going to become a master in a very short period of time. You're going to become very good if you commit to learning the primary skill set and you get good at this, which means you educate yourself, you practice, and you get a mentor. That's how you're actually going to get good and how you're going to make change. And then show up consistently every single day. I want you to show up for yourself every day. I want you to do it for yourself, because you've decided now is the time I have to make a change. Now is the time where I have to show up for myself and become that guy who has the results that he wants in the world. Become that guy who has the results that he wants every single day. That's where the consistency comes in. Do you wake up every day, build your routine, which I'll talk to you more about later, and go down a path of 365 days of winning? Because that's what it's actually going to take, bro, for you to get to where you want to be, okay? I'm rooting for you. I've got nothing to sell you, nothing to offer you. If you want any insight from me or to connect or to just ask me questions, feel free to message me. My Instagram is down below in the description. It's at oxy.tim.tim. Just reach out to me there and we'll talk. Otherwise, subscribe if you learned, and if you want to enjoy and learn from 2 pieces of education for you every single week. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. I appreciate you. And here is to making 2024 your best year ever. All right. See you on the next one.